Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for carving out some time over your presumably lunch hours today to learn a little bit about our bed management functionality within EMHware. And yeah, we have an hour scheduled today. We're going to be, of course, yeah, I should mention my name is Jamal Teklewell. I'm the manager of account management here at EMHware. Thanks a lot for the cue there, Sarah. And this is Sarah Alali, our product leader and product manager within EMHware, working out of our parent company, EverHealth. So, for today, we are going to be presenting our bed management functionality. And of course, our agenda for today is we're going to be talking about some challenges in measuring utilization, the key benefits and value of bed management within EMHware, and as well, we're going to go through a brief demo. And then we'll talk about benefits and limitations, and then we'll leave some time towards the end for a Q&A. Regarding questions, if you are unfamiliar with using Zoom in a webinar format, towards the bottom of your screen, you'll find a Q&A box. So we'll be continuously monitoring that all throughout the webinar, and we will address questions that are raised within the chat function towards the end of the call. And of course, at the end of the call as well, we'll give opportunity for folks to engage in follow-up questions as well. So without further ado, I'll hand it off to my compatriot here, Sarah, to get underway with our primary presentation.
Thanks, Jamal. Appreciate the intro. I'm Sarah Alali, pronouns she, hers, and I lead the product management for EMHware as well as other behavioral health solutions under the EverHealth umbrella. So today we're going to discuss the bed management feature that has been developed by EMHware. It is in a status of what we would call a minimum viable product. So it is early in its development. We are going to be ready to identify some beta customers who are interested in partnering with us to offer feedback for continuous optimization. And so that's kind of the point that Jamal was making earlier about benefits and limitations of what we know EMHware is available in EMHware today. But we'll show you what we have so far, and we're really eager to get your feedback. Leading off the call today, I just wanted to kind of ground ourselves in the purpose of why EMHware intended to develop a bed management feature. Essentially, we're acknowledging that managing bed utilization is critical for optimizing capacity, ensuring timely placements, and care delivery. But a lot of organizations face significant challenges in tracking and managing bed availability, which can lead to inefficiencies and service delays. So a lot of challenges we've heard our clients are facing as it relates to bed management. First is limited visibility into real-time bed availability. So without a centralized real-time tracking system to monitor bed occupancy, staff are having to rely on manual logs or spreadsheets or outdated systems, leading to delayed decision-making and perhaps even inaccurate occupancy data, which might result in an underutilization or overbooking your facilities and resources. A lot of folks also cite that they have manual and inefficient processes that are maybe paper-based or disjointed across different software tools. So that results in staff. You may have multiple staff checking patients in at a time for a given program, and it requires a manual reconciliation of bed availability when you're looking at multiple units or locations, which is certainly heavy on the administrative burden of your team. With that, without the ability to view information in real time, it's difficult to balance bed availability with fluctuating demand and it might result in beds remaining vacant longer than necessary or potentially increasing wait times for your clients. And then finally, without the use of your case management software to document the bed occupancy and utilization, it can be difficult to be audit ready or audit prepared, which can result in a difficulty in tracking length of stay, turnover rates, and historical occupancy trends. So without an effective bed utilization management system, it can, really kind of prevent the ability to optimize the utilization of the resources you have available and ultimately impact clients' ability to access care, which is really the core mission of EMHware, is to help you all help your clients in an easier and more streamlined way. So the benefits of leveraging bed management in EMHware that we're seeking to help deliver include real-time bed tracking for accurate occupancy insights, preventing overbooking or underutilization, also the ability to coordinate across sites. So at any given time, any site leader would be able to see the utilization of beds in a different site, which may help you to find care for a given client sooner if you're able to kind of have that real-time multi-site coordination, which results in optimized resource allocation and reduced wait time for your clients. It helps you to plan staffing and resources accordingly when you can understand the utilization of the resources you have available, as well as looking ahead with potential anticipated discharge dates, which helps, of course, plan out when those next set of admissions would be ready. It also results in operational efficiency. So the reduction of manual processes, of course, decreases human error and administrative workload and enables administrators to forecast and plan for high demand periods, optimizing staff and resource allocation. And finally, the detailed historical records of bed occupancy, turnover rates, and service utilization will hopefully enable you all to glean insights for forecasting, staffing, and potentially funding implications. So EMHware is on the path to deliver you a robust bed utilization management system that will hopefully support in addressing some of these challenges. So with that, I'll show a video of the bed management setup. Before you can train your teams on how to use the beds module, there is some setup and due diligence that we as administrators need to do to support our teams and prepare EMHware to start supporting your staff. So with that, I will bring this video over and we can review how to set up beds. When you're ready to set up your beds module, we recommend first that your administrative team comes together with the operational team to define the standard operating procedure for the use of the beds module to inform how you're setting up your beds hierarchy in the system before it's even used. So I'll show you briefly how you're going to manage your beds, and then shortly thereafter, we'll take a look at the operational workflow of documenting bed records. So in the EMHware Beds module, we have a beds menu seen here, and your administrators are going to have the ability to define the beds available, bed types, bed statuses, and bed groups. And that can then be used by your clinical team to manage the bed records. So this is the portion of the administrative setup that we'll be doing. First, I'll show you how to create a bed. So I'll come to the beds option in the beds menu. As you can see, this agency does not yet have their bed set up. So we're going to come to create a new bed, and the first bed we'll call room 100. And you can use English and or French. You can also specify the bed type. We'll be able to define a bed group and associate it with a program. So we'll use the counseling program. If there is an MCSS component associated with the program, you can optionally associate it here. Also, if your agency has multiple sites, we can select the site associated with that given bed. And you're also free to add additional text to describe the bed if necessary. And then upon clicking save, you can see that the room has been put into service today. Where we return to search beds, you can see this listing now available. You'll repeat this process for as many beds as your organization has. To specify the bed type, you can come to the bed type section, and as you can see, we only have one bed type named bed. In order to create a new bed type, you click new, and you'll give it a name. So for this, perhaps we also want to track utilization of desks in a classroom. So we can define the bed type as a desk and build out the desks available in a given classroom. So we'll call it desk, and you can also define it in French as you like, add another description if you need to. So you might say classroom A, and you can define whether it's active, and you can define from your user's screen whether the bed type defaults to desk. I'm going to save. And then when we go to search bed type, you can see we have these multiple bed types, including desk. You can also define bed statuses. Out of the box, we offer available, occupied, vacant but unassignable, and wait list, but you can also create new bed statuses. The bed status I'll create today is going to be hold. So if you want to define a bed as being on hold, perhaps we can call it on hold. You can use this bed status to indicate that the bed is currently on hold. So when we go to search bed status, you can see now that that bed status is active. A couple additional statuses you might choose to use are off-site visit. So perhaps you have a client who's in a bed, but they're going on an off-site visit for 2 days. You could define that here as a bed status. Finally, we have bed groups. So perhaps you have one program with multiple wings, and you might have a north wing and a south wing. You can group the beds based on those wings by clicking new and defining a bed group. So I'm going to create a group called North Wing, and then you can add additional descriptions here if necessary and save. Similarly, I'm going to create one for the South Wing and save. So now, returning to create a bed, we can go to the beds menu and select beds. We can update this bed to align with the north or south wing. Then we're going to create another bed in the south wing. So we're going to come to the beds menu. We're going to say room 200. And we're going to define it as the south wing for our counseling program in London. And we can save from here. So now we're starting to build our Rolodex of beds that are available across the north and south wing in London for the counseling program. Finally, we can add 2 desks for a given classroom, for example. So if we create a bed group for DBT classroom 199 and save, we'll return to our beds and create a desk entry for that classroom by clicking new, entering the desk One, we can define the bed type as a desk and associate it with DBT Classroom 199 for the counseling program in the London site, and save. That is how you're going to enable your teams for operational success when they start using the beds management tool. So that concludes essentially the setup of your location in order for your operational teams to start using it. Once you have built out all of your beds and desks, that's when we will go to train your operational teams to add bed records for those beds. And that's what we'll be reviewing next. Thank you. Thanks, Jamal. That was a brief overview for how to set up the beds in the beds management module. Now we'll take a look at how to use the bed management module to manage your bed utilization. So with that, I have another brief video. Now we'll briefly review the admit and discharge processes for the bed management module that your operational teams will be using on the floor with your clients. The best way to conceive of how the workflows operate with regard to managing beds is perceiving each bed entry as indicative or corresponding directly with the bed itself. So you're essentially managing the utilization of the bed, but incorporating clients into the management of the beds overall. So to admit a patient, we're going to click a new bed record. We're going to define our counseling program and the given bed that we'd like to use. In this case, I'm going to use room 100. And because we're admitting a patient, it is going to be occupied. Then you have your arrival date, which is today and now. And we highly recommend including an anticipated departure date so that your team can better anticipate utilization needs into the future. So we're going to say a standard of care is typically 4 weeks for this particular program. And you will then define the client you're going to use. So we're going to use testing client 123. Upon authenticating, when you go to search bed records, you can see that the bed is occupied with the details below. To discharge a client from a given bed, you'll select the bed record. You'll unlock the bed entry and you'll swap the bed to available and ensure the departure date is today and now to indicate the duration of use. And then we will authenticate that the bed is available. We can admit another patient to that bed. So we'll go to counseling, we'll select the same bed, we'll make it occupied once again. We'll select today and now for the arrival date and the anticipated discharge date, and select our alternative client. Returning, we can see the entry for that given client. So that is the admit and discharge process for the bed records. You can also manage beds by defining different statuses, such as on hold without defining a client, so that the desk is on hold until a given time. That concludes our review of the beta bed management solution. Okay. So after that demo, I do want to level set with the group as it relates to strengths and limitations that we're currently aware of with regard to the product. So while EMHware does seek to deliver a bed management module that aligns with our current workflows for easy adoption, we're going to level set that there are still areas of opportunity that we intend to enhance, excuse me. First, bed management is highly configurable, as you saw, by site, program, bed type, bed status, and bed groups. It may grow in complexity over time without a strong operational procedure to support your organization's use of the bed management and its setup. As we continue to understand more about specific client needs through our partner testing processes, we're going to be able to eliminate some of the opportunities for complexity that you probably noticed today. Secondly, the first version of our bed management that you saw today was designed to align with our current EMHware workflows for the purposes of ease of use. However, we do intend to incorporate additional logic and automation as we grow in our understanding of how it's being used for easier documentation of admissions, discharges, and transfers. Finally, we had gone back and forth about whether to include waiting start dates and end dates for beds separate from program history, as most bed utilization presupposes admission to a given program. So having wait lists, if you may have noticed in the demo, having wait lists for beds separate from program history may introduce conflicting data about wait times. So we're interested in hearing from you whether the wait list in program history is sufficient or whether you would find value in a separate wait list for beds specifically at your organization. We also we decided to approach this by enabling you all to define an alternative status for a given bed independent of a client. But that may be something we try to reimagine how we're doing, because it does result in cumbersome transfer and discharge workflows, as you may have seen. So these are the things that we acknowledge we want to continuously improve and are really seeking testing partners to join us in figuring out kind of how we can make some assumptions and continue optimizing the solution in a way that it aligns with real life operations. So if you have any recommendations or ideas now on how to enhance the solution, certainly feel free to drop your ideas and recommendations in the Q&A chat if you have anything to share today. And Jamal and I are of course always open to hearing your feedback after the fact if you have any more ideas. So with that, I'll turn it over to Jamal to close us out.